Hello again, and welcome to week number 4 for the exhibit evaluation course. Again, I've been reviewing the book on tools for evaluation of exhibits and programs and services and other things. And one of the things that we are approaching now for week number 4, now that the course is almost over, is the prospect of exhibits that don't work. And so this is a philosophical week, really. If you do an exhibit evaluation, the exhibits are working great, then woohoo, good for you, happy days, and all that. So the question is, what do you do when you do the evaluation and the exhibits aren't working? Now, one of the articles I have you reading is from the Dursey research that we did with Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And that's where we found so many exhibits that created negative learning. I know we've talked about negative learning, especially in some of our chat rooms, but it's a real prospect. And one of the articles I had you read last week actually showed exhibits that out of the 13 that we critiqued, we had about 3 or 4 that had negative learning. So the question is, at what point in time, will you decide to either keep trying to fix the exhibit, or you just say this exhibit isn't a good exhibit and you just discard it. You just say this isn't we're not going to do this exhibit anymore. So that's one of the problems of evaluation is what happens when you find out if the exhibits aren't working. How much time and money and effort are you going to put into trying to repair them? Now with our science museum exhibits, the article that you have, again, the students came in on a Monday, did our pre and post test. We tried to make corrections for exhibits that had problems on Tuesday. We tested the exhibits again on Wednesday, made additional adjustments on Thursday, tested the exhibits again on Friday. If they weren't working by Friday, if they weren't at least at a 50% or higher, we wanted like a 70% level, we got rid of them. That exhibit just either conceptually or design-wise just wasn't working. So your question is, at one point in time, do you quit trying to fix exhibits that aren't working and just try to find the underlying problems that exhibit might have? Is it a conceptual problem? Is it a problem where the exhibit just doesn't relate to the audience? Is it a problem in label copy? Is it a problem in graphics? Just what is it that's causing that exhibit to fail? And none of us want exhibits that fail. We want exhibits that do more. So if on your pre-test you find out that 70% of the people understand the concept, on the post-test you find out you're down to 50%, then what in that exhibit is causing a problem? So what are some of the things you can do to find out what the problem is? Probably the most obvious one is to do interviews. Where you find out what people already know, but then you actually interview them at that exhibit and find out, is it the graphic that's causing the problem? Is it the label copy that's causing the problem? What is it in that exhibit that's causing confusion? What is it in that exhibit that's creating cognitive dissonance? And cognitive dissonance is essentially what happens in advertising all the time. That you find out what people's existing beliefs are, and then you find out that the commercial or the exhibit is causing confusion about those beliefs, and then those beliefs are substituted with a new belief. That's how commercials work. So what happens when your exhibit does that? What happens when they have an existing belief and the exhibit causes confusion and it changes their attitudes or perceptions about that subject matter, but it's incorrect? So then what do you do? Well, obviously, again, interviews and actually talking to people to find out what is causing the problem is probably an important thing to do. And that's part of the evaluation process is that what you do in the evaluation shows that the exhibits are really not working very well. So that's your philosophical discussion for this last week of the evaluation of exhibits course is how much time and money and effort are you going to put into finding out what the problem is, correcting the problem, And what happens if you can't correct the problem? Do you just discard the exhibit, or do you keep working and try to find out what is causing the discontinuity with the visitors, with why they can't understand the subject and why they keep misinterpreting what it is you want them to know? So that's what's in load for this final week of week 4 is negative learning and what happens when the exhibits aren't working. What are your plans to do to keep either trying to fix them or just say that's a bad exhibit. I guess we just need to get rid of that exhibit and start from scratch on something different. So there's not a right or wrong answer, but it's a problem that we've encountered many times where no matter how many fixes we try to fix, it's just a bad exhibit or a bad concept or a bad topic, and it's best just to move on. Or you think it's an important topic and you keep working at it. Not a right or wrong answer, but it's a philosophical question for you. And that'll bring us to the end of Unit 4 and the end of thinking about evaluation of interpretive exhibits for this course. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to chatting with you this week, and I hope you have fun thinking about this. Bye-bye.